All right, folks. The next guest is an amazing woman, man. She was an advertising executive. She's an author. She's a motivational speaker. She's a life coach. She's everything, man. And she has a great story. Put your hands together. Show some love for Michelle Hammond. McKinney Hammond. There you go. There. All right. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Fantastic.
Happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. We'll take a commercial break.
Okay.
And when we come back, let's get busy.
All right.
All right. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
It's gonna get sweeter than guinea fowl. It's the KSM Show.
The KSM Show.
Oh, yes. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Wow. It's good to see you finally. You know, I've
read
about you.
Oh,
great. Yeah. I've read a lot about you.
I hope it was good.
Oh, everything was good.
Okay.
Everything was good. I first heard from you. I first heard about you from Amma Kiababrasa, and she was like, "Oh, you should talk to her. She's this, she's that, she's on this." I said, "Really?" Says you don't. Go and Google her. So I went to Google. And I'm like, "Oh my God, why don't I know her?" But congrats, man. You've done so much.
Thank you.
Advertising exec, Emmy winning, producer, and the works.
Yeah.
Wow. What struck me most when I was doing my research about you was how you encourage women to believe in themselves.
Yes.
And there was a book, I haven't read the book, but the title is quite interesting. The title is If Men Were Buses.
If men are like buses, how do I catch one?
If men are like buses.
Yes, people like that title.
Yes.
Lots of spicy
if men are like buses, how do I catch one? I'm like, whoa, I like to read this. And there's another title that I really liked. What do I do to keep the attraction or attention?
101 ways to get and keep his attention. Yes.
101 ways.
101 ways. There's probably more, but you know,
to get and keep the man's attention?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you give me just 2 of them?
Oh, well.
The ladies that are watching, take your notebooks, you know.
Well, one of the big things that women need to know is that men fall in love with them based on how they feel when they're in your presence. So it's really about building up the other person, making them feel important in your world. That's very important. Everybody wants to feel important in another person's world. So that's one of the big keys. Is a man requires respect. Actually, a man interprets love as respect. So respect is very important to men.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Where do you spend most of your energies now at? I mean, you...
Well, I've been in Ghana for 5 years. When I came, my dad had just passed away. And I left America, where I was co-hosting a television show. And as you mentioned, I'm an author. I've written over 40 books and sold over 2 million worldwide. And so I was doing the television show. And when I came, I thought, what am I going to do here? You know, now that I'm here, I was running 2 businesses that he had left behind. But that wasn't where my passion really was. Because
your dad is from Ghana?
Yes, I'm Ghanaian.
Oh, you're Ghanaian?
Yes, I'm Ghanaian. Ha. So I came and I settled in, and I was cast in Single and Married as a counselor. And I've done about 5 movies since then. Wow. There's the newest one out is Candle in the Wind, which I did with Venus Productions.
Oh, really?
And I
is it out?
Yes, it's out. We premiered it at the theater, and I starred in that one. So I've been enjoying being a part of the movie world, but I'm also in ministry here, and I've started a new ministry called Relevance, because I believe it's really important for the Word of God and our relationship with God to be relevant. Does it work for me today? What do I get out of it besides going to church? And church shouldn't just be something that we do formally, but that we actually go as if we're seeing our Father there and we're enjoying His presence and having a real encounter and walking away changed. So we have a moniker at Relevance, come as you are, leave changed. So we come in our blue jeans and our T-shirts, and we do funky rock music, and we have
church?
Oh, yes.
Where's your church?
Yes.
I'm there this Sunday.
Yes.
Where's your church?
It's Saturday night because it's a party for us, you know, and it's 6 to 7:30 on Saturday nights.
Where?
And it's on Spintex. When you get to the Coca-Cola roundabout, you follow it around onto the little dirt road there where all the vendors are. And just as you pass them, across from Go Industries, the gate right there, you turn you turn right, and there's a big red warehouse there, Warehouse 9. Is where it all goes down.
That's where the church goes.
Yes, it's very funky,
Whoa.
very informal, because we don't want you to be distracted by things on the wall and all the formality and fancy dressing. It's all about God. Your time to connect with Him, hear Him, experience Him, have a great worship experience, and then learn something that you can use from the Word. So we really do very simplistic, more motivational, but principle-driven teaching so that you can actually listen to the message and say, I can use that piece of information. Like right now, we're talking about how to fulfill our dreams. You know, so I'm encouraging them because God wants us to be productive. He wants us to be fruitful. He wants us to prosper. How do we do that? How do we tap into that? There are lots of secrets in the Bible on how to prosper. So we're literally going through that now. Maybe your dream is a great relationship. How are we fruitful in relationships? Relationships are really my passion. I'm considered a relationship expert.
Yeah.
So I deal a lot with relationship with God, relationship with yourself, and relationship with others, and then those relationships that matter romantically to you. How do we master those relationships so that they're the best that they can be?
Wow.
So we're all about making the word relevant. That's why we call it Relevance.
So the church is called Relevance.
Yes,
the ministry is called Relevance.
Yeah, and we have a website people can look at, relevancelife.org. We're on Facebook and Twitter, and we're always tweeting words of encouragement.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a fun congregation, diverse. Majid comes by every now and then.
Majid comes by there?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and Amakay comes, you know. So a lot of people, business people, young people, expats, all different types of people come because they love the music. Like sometimes people come because they hear the music from the road and they go, oh, that sounds so amazing. Let's go see what's going on over there.
It's church.
Yes, and it's church. So we perform around town. We go to places like Plus 233, Gold Coast, Republic. So our music is very cutting edge. It's very different. We write all of our own music at Relevance. So it's really a jam fest.
How big, what's the membership like, size like?
Oh, it's a small congregation because we just started. So we're growing. So the numbers vary from week to week. So we're having a good time.
Wow. So if you want to go into a church and it's, should I say funky?
It's funky.
You want to go to a church and have a funky good time and learn, by the way.
And learn something, yes.
Something relevant.
Yes.
That's what attracts me to
Yes,
everything
yes.
you said, you know, relevance.
Yes.
Because I go to church, or, if you will, why I do not go to church as often is that sometimes I hear the sermon, I'm like, so how relevant is this to me?
Yes, exactly. How can I use this?
How can I use this?
Exactly. And I believe, you know, Jesus said he came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. So how do we tap into that abundant life? How do we get that abundant life? There are lots of keys and strategies, but we spend a lot of time in church, and a lot of times it's so spiritual, it's no earthly good. But I believe that God has an on-time word for people to be able to use it and experience the victory that he wanted us to have in our lives. So I'm really about raising up intelligent Christians who, because the word says first natural, then spiritual. So that means God is actually interested in your natural life as much as he is your spiritual life. And he addresses both because we're triune beings. We're spirit, soul, and body. And he addresses all three of those angles of our lives. So he's interested in your relationships. He's interested in what happens at work. He's interested in your money. Not because he wants it, but because he wants you to have some too. Right?
Okay, and the name of the ministry is Relevance.
Relevance.
And then you meet Saturdays.
We meet Saturdays,
6
to 7:30, and the first Friday of every month. We do just worship for an hour and a half. So it is just a full-on musical experience where people come and have a great time. And we've just had so many testimonies about just people, when they leave, they go, whew, I feel like a new person. One guy said, I think I had an out-of-body experience. I closed my eyes and I didn't know where I was. It just felt so good. And I came in, I was so burdened down, and I had so many things going on in my life. And now I feel new. I feel like all those things were answered while we just worshiped. you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just need that place where you get away, like a little oasis, where you can just refresh yourself and feel renewed. So it's fun, but it's also deep. It's also profound, and I would say it's life-changing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Put your hands together. Oh, wow. Now, so you've been in Ghana for, but your childhood was in Barbados and in the UK.
Yes, I was born in London, and then I lived in Barbados. I started school in Barbados, and then I moved to America. I lived in Michigan for a while, and then I moved to Chicago, Chi-Town, you know. So that's where I was an advertising exec. I worked for the largest African-American advertising agency in the country called Burrell Communications.
Yeah.
And I did commercials for Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Johnson Product, you name it, I did it. So I had a very exciting life.
You had so many awards in for advertising.
Yes, I have like over 25 awards for my work in advertising, and I was an art director, writer, and I produced and did radio and television commercials. So I got to fly to New York and LA and hang out with stars and do all kinds of exciting productions.
Wow. Do you miss those advertising days?
I miss production. I love production. I love production, and so that's why it's been fun for me to get into movies here. And I'm working on a screenplay now because I want to.
Really?
I want to produce a movie.
Really?
But yeah. So I love it. I love the world of theater. I love production. I love all the creative arts. I love writing music and producing music. So I'm getting to do that here, and I didn't think I would. And I'm really enjoying it. I don't miss the States at all, especially in light of what's going on there right now.
Oh, especially,
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's very, very bad. So I'm glad that I live in a world where black people celebrate one another. We're running it. Aren't we running it? We're running it. You know? And I just pray that we know that even in Africa that all black lives matter. That we matter to one another, whether we're Fanti, Ivi, Ga, whatever we are. We should really honor, respect, and love one another and support one another. It's important.
Yeah. Show some love, man. And even though your father is Ghanaian, you grew up there.
Yes.
And you connected with him when you were 14?
Yes.
You lost touch with your dad?
It was actually a very miraculous thing. My mom and dad separated when when we were in England, and she sent me to Barbados. Eventually, he came back to Ghana. She moved, remarried an American, and moved. So we didn't know where each other was. And so it was quite miraculous. My aunt was taking a tour of Africa. And I said, well, maybe you can find my dad while you're there.
Wow.
And my mom, all she said was, you know, I used to write to his mother in Accra. That's all I remember. And based on that, when she came to Accra, she checked into the Golden Tulip Hotel and said, do you know a George Hammond? Have you ever heard of it? And the man said, yes, that's our bank president. He was the chairman of Merchant Bank. He had founded Merchant Bank.
Yeah.
And he comes here every day with his clients at 5 for drinks.
Wow.
So it was quite miraculous.
Wow.
So they gave her the number to the bank. She called and said, I'm your daughter's aunt. She wanted me to find you. And he was so excited, and I was so excited. And we were joined at the hip from that moment on.
Wow.
Yes. I saw his face. I saw my face. I said, yes.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Yes, that's my dad.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So I was always coming back and forth. I spent every Christmas here with my dad.
I see.
You know, and he passed away a few years ago. And so then when I came, I stayed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you. I feel very much at home. Well, you know, Ghana's very much like Barbados. So I always have a running joke that when the ships went, the Nigerians went to Jamaica and the Ghanaians went to Barbados. But they're very much, you know, very much like Ghanaians and Barbadians are very much alike.
Coming back to Ghana, we're coming to Ghana and being away for so long, and culturally, in terms of your perception of marriage, what a woman is supposed to be, is there any conflict with what you perceive to be against what exists in Ghana? For example, if you have your typical Ghanaian woman who, you know, they are married just by their marriage. You have to get married at this time.
Oh, I went through that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because there is a big pressure in Ghana to be married. That doesn't exist in other parts of the world. You know, in America, statistically, people get married later in life. But you know, I was raised as a Bajan. My mother is Barbadian, you see. So even though we were in America, talking about being in the world but not of the world, I was raised in a culture that's very similar to Ghanaian culture.
I see.
So my dad, of course, was very concerned once I got out of college. And I graduated from high school early. I graduated when I was 16. So I was finished with college by 21. And my dad was then, okay, so when are you getting married? And I was like, married? I want to do this and I want to do that. And plus, for me, marriage is not about getting married. It's about when I meet someone that I say, man, I don't want to live without this person in my life. I really want to wake up with this person every day. That's when I'll get married. Not because, oh, it's time for me to get married or my biological clock is ticking or with peer pressure of getting married. So my dad for a long time would always say, well, when are you getting married? And I said, Daddy, I'm living my life. I'm very happy. I'm accomplishing a lot. I'm a well-known author internationally. I've spoken everywhere, from the Potter's House to Creflo Dollars to you name it. I've spoken all over the world, KICC, South Africa. I said, look at my life. If I was married, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So let me do what I'm doing. And when God says so, and I meet that guy that I want to wake up with every morning, and that's a test right there. Do I really want to deal with this person every day? I mean, I've got to be madly in love with you to want to see you every day. So when that happens, then I'll get married.
Yeah. Has it happened?
Not yet. I'm
Not
still
yet.
looking.
So what are you telling the women who are single women?
Yes.
Who think that the clock is ticking and what's your advice for them?
My advice to single women is do you. Live life to the fullest. Be the best you that you can be. Be the person that you want to attract. Because I find that a lot of times women have a lot of expectations for the man. But are they living up to the expectations that perhaps he wants someone who's got their act together too? What are you bringing to the party? A man is not your answer to your financial distress. He's a life partner. He should be your best friend. You shouldn't feel that sort of pressure in your life. What makes you attractive is you being a whole woman. When two whole people come together, then you have a whole relationship. If you've got two broken or fragmented people, you'll end up with a broken relationship. So be the best you that you can be. Be whole. Have your act together and have something to offer so that when the right man comes into your life, it becomes a power couple as opposed to just an answer to your issues. And then to married people, I would say, appreciate your spouse. Love your spouse. Be faithful. Work on your marriage. Every season of our lives and every relationship we're in has its difficulties. So remain committed to your commitment. Work through things. That's when you get the reward.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. When you see older couples that are literally like one, where they're finishing one another's sentences, and you see that they're very comfortable with one another and they're best friends, when you ask them, they say, oh, honey, we didn't start off this way. Oh, this happened and that happened. But they worked through those things and they remained committed to the commitment. And they weathered the storm. My mom and dad have now been married for 52 years.
Wow.
And they're like two little peas in a pod. It's so cute. When she leaves the room, his eyes still follow her. And I go, wow. They're still in love with one another.
Wow.
But they weren't always happy. I remember when I joined them in America, they went through a lot. But they were committed to their commitment. And they worked through those things. And they became closer because of it.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Wow. So you haven't found that person yet?
No, I thought I did a couple of times. But, you have to really study people in relationships and not be so quick to jump in. And time reveals all things, as they say. And I'm one of those people that if I think it's not working, I don't think you should torture the other person or torture yourself. Admit that it's not working and release them to be loved by someone who would really love them for who they are, and wait for that person that will love you for who you are. Because we're all extraordinary, unique people, and I believe that every cloth in the store has its owner. Some people like print, some people like solid, some people like floral patterns, and you should be with the person that celebrates you, not settles for you.
Not
settles.
Settle. Okay.
So I think a lot of people settle.
Yeah.
Because they go, well, it's time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they're not bad. What does that mean? Because if you think about it, when you meet someone, their irritations, those things become magnified when it's a permanent situation. So the things that you put up with when you were dating, you don't like when you're married, and it just grows and it irritates you even more and more. So you really have to get to that place of, do I like this person? Do I love this person? Am I in love with this person? If one of those is missing, you shouldn't marry that person. Because they need to be your best friend. They need to be your lover. They need to be your confidant. They need to be the person you're excited about most of the time. You're not going to be in love every day. But if you're in like, you'll get through.
That's a motivational speaker for you, man.
I love talking about relationships. Relationships are very intricate and very interesting. And I think that sometimes people are too hard on themselves. And they take themselves too seriously. You got to learn to laugh at yourself and with one another in a relationship. Laughter will get you through a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But so the way you sound, if you do find that much, he will be a very happy man.
Oh, yes, he'll be very happy. He will be so spoiled, rotten, he won't believe it. Yes. Because I love to cook. I love to have fun, you know, and I really like men. You know, it's very important to actually really like a member of the opposite sex. You know what I mean when I say that? Because sometimes I think that people are in love, but they don't really like people. Or you have issues. You haven't settled with your dad or your mom, or you had a bad experience with someone, and you really haven't figured out that you really don't like men anymore. You don't like women anymore. You know? And you have to have a healthy appreciation for the member of the opposite sex, for your relationship to work. I think men are very wise and very interesting. They think very bottom line, and women are more organic. And I think that if we valued our differences, that's when you become powerful together. When you respect those differences, when he respects that gifting in me, that when I say, you know, I don't feel right about that, and he goes, uh-oh, every time she doesn't feel right about it, she's usually right. You know, she's got that gut instinct, and I appreciate that. But I also appreciate when he says, you know, I've assessed this situation, it's not going to work for us. And I go, wow, my husband is a bottom line man, and he knows what the bottom line looks like, and I'm going to trust that. So when we trust each other's differences and the different abilities that God has given us, because he wired us differently, you know, on purpose. On purpose. So why are we trying, you know, I find that a lot of women want to try to make the man like her, or the man wants to make the woman like himself. But if the both of you are alike, one of you is unnecessary. You see?
Final question.
Okay.
So you seem to know a lot about relationships and the connections, those that are right, those are not. Why do you think yours didn't work out? Have you diagnosed it?
You know what? It's interesting. I am friends with all my exes. I can't get rid of any of them.
Oh, really?
You know, so they end well. But
see.
I think that you have to be really honest about what works for you. And sometimes it's about timing. Sometimes it's a season of your life. I think I'm much now more in a season of being ready to settle than I ever was before. I traveled extensively before. I was gone 2 and 3 times a week sometimes, different parts of the world. I don't think that's fair. I think that when you have a relationship, you need to be there for the relationship. Yes, you can still travel, but now the relationship becomes the priority and not doing whatever you were doing. And I wasn't ready to give that up yet.
I see.
So it was a different season of my life.
I see. But this is in its prime? You're ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready now. So if you're out there and you're cute, hey, call me. Or come to Relevance.
Come to Relevance, yes.
There you go.
Go to Relevance and say, hey, I'm the one you were speaking to. You know, I think, but I'm going to come to Relevance. By
Please,
the way.
come.
Yeah,
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
The music is off the charts, I'm telling you. Oh, yeah.
I'll be there,
We
man.
rock it out. We say we rock for the rock.
You rock for the rock. Oh, I like that. You rock for the rock.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll be rocking for the rock this Sunday. Join me. Saturday evening. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Oh.
Thank you for having me.
Michelle, thank you. But I have to get you back one day. Then we just
I'll
the
come.
pure relationships. I'll get
Yes.
gathering of women here who will.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I love
I'll
that
do
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love Q&A and answering questions. That'd be
Fantastic.
great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There.
I learned something new today.
Michelle McKinney Hammond, y'all. Show some love one more time. And we will be right back.
If you're having as much fun as I am, stay tuned. If you're not, you need deliverance. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.